Hey guys, we finished the bus. Actually finished it a few months ago, a little while ago, and thought we'd get on video and show you the whole thing now that it's all done. So what we have here is a Freightliner Fs65. It's a 2004. It has Mercedes 900 power. It's a 6-cylinder diesel. It's great. Allison 2000 transmission. Pretty similar to what you'd see in a Chevy Duramax pickup truck from the same generation. From the front here you can see we made this little cattle guard, brush guard I guess if you will. I wouldn't use it for a cow, but just kind of protect everything as we're wandering through the roads less traveled. We've replaced all of the lights on the entire bus with LEDs, top, bottom. We converted the emergency flasher lights to LED. I'd say they're more area lights. They're not really spotlights, but when you flip them on, they're great when you're rolling into a campground at night to be able to kind of give yourself some lighting to see where you're going. We replaced the mirrors. These are the stock mounting frames, but the mirror heads are new. So the outside has all been sanded, repainted. This is a metallic gray paint. Top is white up to the top of the windows, and then that is the silicone roof, white silicone roof sealer above that on the entirety of the roof. We added side skirts here that are 7.5 inches tall, all the way around. Just brings it down to the bottom, the body line down to the bottom of the toolboxes that we added. This is the first one. This is general storage. So in here is 2 triangular sunshades, 2 hammocks. This is the balance of our tools. In here you see extension cords, jumper cables. This is the torque multiplier kit to take the lug nuts off of the bus. Lockup cable for the generator. Bow saw. In here is where the blocks go for the leveling blocks for when you're parked on something slightly less than level. You see, this is typical of all of the compartments. They're carpeted. Everything's carpeted inside and out. All the cabinets are finished inside and out. These are buyer's boxes. These are really good heavy-duty industrial truck boxes. This is the propane cabinet. There's two 20-pound tanks in there, one in front of the other. This is the regulator and automatic switchover, so you have both tanks connected at once. Around the back, same thing as the front. All the lights have been replaced with LED, including the backup lights. These are actually spotlights. Those are high intensity. They're really bright when they come on. They're awesome. Otherwise, you see the cameras here. There are actually 8 cameras around the bus, inside and out. So 2 behind you, 2 in front of you, looking out through the dashboard. And then an ensemble, one going down both sides from the front. And one inside going down the front. Anyhow, covering all the points of entry and any helpful points as you're driving. This is the stock back door. Drinking water. We typically carry 4 of these 5-gallon bottles. It's a lot of water. We haven't run out of water. 1-gallon gas can for the generator. This is the infill piece here for that converts the banquette into the bed. It actually folds in on itself. This is a 60-inch buffet table here. And then there are 4 camp chairs. Well, actually 1 love seat and 2 chairs. Over here on this side, 2 plastic storage boxes. The one on the bottom is cleaning supplies. The one on the top was typically excess other supplies, so excess food, paper towels, toilet paper, Windex, cleaning supplies. Some of that stuff went into that between those 2 big totes. But you can see they're really big. And there's 2 of those that stack on top of each other. Also in here is the jack handle for the spare tire. It clips in on the back side of the wall. It unclips pretty easily, but obviously you got to fight the boxes. Anyway, I'll show you that while we're talking about it. It goes in here. You fish it around in there until it locks in. And then you see this, you just crank this down. And right here, if you'll follow me, is the spare tire. And it just cranks down if you need it. And then if you don't, when you're done with it, you crank it back up into place. Take the handle out and put it back away in the back. Anyhow, that way you've always got a spare on board. You've got a spare tire. You've got a lug wrench and the ability to change. It's going to take a while, no lie. There's a bottle jack. You'll have to take my word for it. There's a 20-ton bottle jack in the back here as well that sits there next to the chairs on the ground. And it's capable of lifting any part of this bus up. So if you get a flat tire, you're capable of getting yourself back out under any circumstances. It's going to take you a minute, but you're getting home. So that was the whole point of this. Also in this compartment over here, I didn't mention, is typically my Craftsman mechanics tool set. Has my wrenches and sockets and that kind of stuff in a little case. That slides in there as well. So I think that shows you what we've got here. This closes up and locks. I didn't show you the locks. The bus uses the same key. These are Best 7-pin, small format, removable core locks. They all use the same key. They're all key to light. So they're industrial grade locks. They'll outlast the bus for sure. And if you want to change them at any point, I have the control key that'll be supplied. That's part of the bus. And at any point they could be changed for 25 bucks a piece or something. This is the gray tank dump. Right here is the back of the gray tank. There's a 95-gallon gray tank there between the frame rails. I made this little wheelie bar here. This is just to help us sometimes when you get into real extreme up and down situations, you'll drag the back of the bus, and we wanted to drag that wheel before we drug the hitch. This is a standard 2-inch hitch receiver. I know for a fact it'll pull an 8,000-pound trailer, no problem. We pulled that for 2,500 miles. No issues whatsoever. The bus still went up and down hills at 35, 40 miles an hour, even the steepest of hills. The bus does do a pretty good job at climbing hills, much better than you might think for a school bus. Even the steepest of interstate hills, you'll still maintain 35, 40 miles an hour when some of the buses and trucks are going 15, 10. So it's not a speed demon, but it'll for sure go 65 miles an hour down the highway all day long. It'll go 60 miles an hour down the highway and get really pretty darn good gas mileage too. So we've gotten 12 to 13 miles of the gallon on flat ground. So into the hills it gets a little worse than that, but back here the first compartment is the house batteries. It's magnetic, so it stays open. This is 3 Renogy 200 amp hour batteries. They're 26 inches long, so you're just looking at the end of it. They all have security custom brackets and security torque screws, so if somebody were inclined to pry open the door here, they would still need the special bit to get those open. This first compartment after that is the most important thing of all. It's the grill. We have an assortment of these quick release hoses that I've made up that fit the grill and the tanks, obviously, and so hook here that stores all those, and then there's a bungee cord right here that holds this grill down, keep it from bouncing around when you're going down the road. The rear tires, while we're looking at the tires, these are the tires that came on the bus. These are recaps, but they have excellent tread. There's a solid 3/8 to half an inch tread there. So they're in great shape. We added mud flaps all the way around to keep some of the, we probably chiseled a good 100 pounds of sand and gravel from the underside of the bus, and so we wanted to try and minimize that. This is the exterior vent for the on-demand hot water heater. This is behind this door is the quick disconnect for the propane. This is one place that you can connect one of those hoses and connect the grill or even the range from inside. We'll get to that in a minute. This is the black tank dump right here. This is the cap. This is the dump. Also under here is the trash chute. I'll show you this now, but this is the, there is a central trash chute located in the kitchen counter, and there's also an access point in the bathroom right next to the stool. And you can throw a limited amount of stuff into here, probably about 10 gallons worth of stuff by volume. And then when you get to your next stop, you can just put a bucket or a trash bag under here and open the trash chute and dump it all out. It's super handy for stuff that you want to put in the trash, but you don't necessarily want riding around in the bus with you. This next compartment, this is another buyer's box. This is number 3. The grill was number 2. This is number 3. This is the chassis batteries. This is number 4. There's 4 of them. This is the house electrical cabinet. This is the inverter converter switchover. You have a convenience outlet here. You have various shut off, disconnect fuses, circuit breakers here. This is the cooling fan for this cabinet. And this is the shore power connection. There's a small access door on this cabinet. So if you're parked somewhere for an extended period of time, you can knock that out. That way you don't have to have this door standing open. You have this stainless steel deck plate, is what it is from a boat. And then you can connect to your shore power. Actually, this is a 25-foot cord, so up to 25 feet away. If you need more, you can obviously always add an extension cord, but it's self-retracting. And when you're done, you can put the deck plate back in place and you're all good to go back down the road, all sealed up. As promised, this is the chassis batteries. This is a spare, this just found its way into here. This is a spare diesel heater. There's 2 of these in the bus. We'll get into those in a little bit more detail here in a minute, but we replaced one of them. This is the 90 for the sewer dump hose. Anyhow, these are the 2 chassis batteries. Not much to talk about there. They're both brand new. We replaced them about 3 months ago. New for the season. Brand new Toyo tires up front. They've got a couple thousand miles on them. This is the chassis electrical panel. This is my wiring diagram, or at least a legend for it. What you see up top here are the 2 chassis. This is all Thomas chassis. And what you see down below here, this is all what I added. This was chassis circuits that went for the air conditioner in the back and stuff like that. Anyhow, once I'd cleaned all that off, I had a blank panel. So these are all of the house 12-volt circuits, and they're all called out here. This is the 12-volt to 24-volt jump transformer, because the LED lighting inside runs on 24-volt. So that steps it up to that 24-volt that we need. These relays control the various, the various electrical items in there. This is the sea level tank monitor system here. So, I mean, what you see, 21% black tank, 0% gray tank, nothing in the freshwater, batteries 12.9. It is Bluetooth. There is an app on my phone that we can use to read all of those things as well. These are the lighting controllers. There are 4 LED strip light zones inside, and each one of these controls one of those zones. This relates to the this is the control for the 24 volts here. These as well have a Bluetooth app on our phone, and I'll show you more of that when we get inside. Underneath this, of course, is the factory legend for the 2 panels that are up above there. They're self-diagnostic. You can see with the LEDs here. When the key's on, green LED means good to go. Anything other than green means call the mechanic. Doesn't really happen. We haven't had any of those issues. What you see here is one of the diesel heaters down here at the bottom, that red, and it feeds up. You can see a pipe right here, and it feeds the dash. So there is a pipe that runs across the dash and provides defrost to the window, and there's a vent that supplies heat to the driver and one to the passenger. All separately controllable, but they're fed by this diesel heater up front. It is fed from the chassis electrical. So when you're parked, there's two of these, you really want to be using the one that's in the back that is connected to the house electrical and those massive batteries that we just showed you. So, anyhow, walking around, I guess we'll show you what's inside. We added, I guess the first thing here is that we added this latch system that has these top and bottom rods that you see as the handle turns, they go up and latch top and bottom. It was important to us to keep the original doors and the look of the original doors from the outside. It really messes with the whole school bus part of it. So all the seals are in really great shape. So the doors really seal up pretty well when they're closed. So that's what it took to get there. That provides us good security. Again, same best 7-pin lock that we've got everywhere else. So, I mean, a lot easier to break a window than it is to fiddle with that lock. What you see first thing when you come in here is there's a panel here that drops down. Obviously, this would be in the driving or the parked position. It's so much handier to not have to worry about falling into the stair hole there, if you will. This is all commercial grade charcoal walk-off carpet. It's indestructible. Whatever you get on it, you just let it dry and you vacuum it off. This is solid color mosaic porcelain tile. It's epoxy grout. We used epoxy grout on this and the walls in the bathroom as well. There's a grab handle here. Come on in. So inside here, first thing you have is a 10-pound ABC fire extinguisher and a first aid kit. This is all Katie's magic here. I got to show you this. So we found this vintage first aid kit box online, and we bought it. And Katie stocked this thing. So everything in here is just over the top. But look how cute that is. So prepared for pretty much any emergency, I would say. This is the heater port that I was talking about for the passenger a minute ago. This is actually the chassis diagnostic port. If there's ever any issues with that. These are cup holders. There's two here. There's also two over next to the driver. We actually found that they're really great if you leave them folded down with just to provide a little tray for your keys or your cell phone when you're driving down the road. These red knobs here are the control knobs for the heated seats. Both the passenger and the driver's seats are heated, the bottom and the back independently. So bottom here for the passenger, top for the passenger. This is the light, passenger's light. It's also red at night, and that's controllable up there, but it's much easier to just switch on and off here. This is the display for the front diesel heater. ignition switch, driver's heated seat here. One of the things that you don't notice when you walk in here is that on the factory Thomas bus, there is a huge metal enclosure that occupies all of the space that is the front heater unit that is powered from the coolant. And by going to the diesel heater setup, we got rid of all of that and were able to provide this space. This is flat panel. We built these custom flower pots up here out of tropical hardwood. The inside of them is fiberglass, so they're completely watertight. We have a series of beakers and succulents that we plant in there. It's really beautiful the way it turned out. This is the stock Thomas dash. Over here you have the two more of the cup holders that I showed you earlier. This is the controller for the video cameras, and this is the solar controller. We have 600 watts of solar on the roof. Another 120 volt convenience outlet fed by the inverter. These are the factory Thomas switches, just relocated. I built all of these panels and that, so it was much cleaner than what was there. This is the video display for the cameras. There's another flower pot behind it, made out of tropical hardwood. We built this shelf. It's about 7 inches deep, so it holds smallish books. We found it's better to keep them bundled up with the Velcro straps when we're going down the road. But given that, everything rides down there great. Over here we have kind of our collection of magnets, but the point of this really is that it's so amazing to have everything inside this bus that's steel. I mean, literally everything is magnetic. So if you're wondering how to put up a curtain or hang a picture, or there's no question. We have a series of magnets. Obviously blue whale, so we have these blue whale magnets. We have a really big blue whale magnet. We've found these little clip magnets are super handy. So, and then obviously we've been collecting magnets from our travels. This is the bathroom. Glass tile on this wall and the facing wall there as well. Epoxy grout, white epoxy grout. There's not a crack. We've driven this bus every bit of 6,000 miles now, and there's not a crack to be found in the grout, in the tile. It's really tough stuff. This is the same tropical hardwood here that's on the flower pots on the front dash. These mats just lay in here. They're in several pieces, but they just lay in there. And underneath that is a one-piece epoxy shower pan that goes down to a central drain. This is the handheld shower, rainfall shower head, all that connected to that same system. While you're at it, you've got this is a tempered insulated glass skylight. So 3/8 tempered glass on the top, 1/4 inch laminated glass on the bottom. They are capable of being walked on, and the point of that is when we get up on the roof I'll show you, but they are absolutely level with the deck. And so it is a critical component that you can walk on them, but as well, you can see, I mean, I'm 6'5", and there's still headroom here to be had. Despite the fact that the bus is sloping down rapidly. This is a twin wall polycarbonate door. There is a lock pin here at the top. These are standard pip pins. You'll see a few number of these. Keep it from bouncing around when you go down the road. Put the pin back in place, locked in place. This is a standard RV toilet. So this is a standard flush lever here. There is a 60-gallon black tank directly underneath us that we showed you the dump valve for earlier. This is the toilet paper here, TP. And over here, this is the trash chute that I showed you earlier. So that's entry number 1 for the trash chute. Otherwise, standard school bus windows throughout. So pull the buttons up. There are 4 emergency exit windows throughout the bus. And at each one of those, you can pull the handle and swing the window out completely. Obviously, one strategically located in the bathroom, one facing here next to the door, if for whatever reason the door was inoperable, and then 2 back here in the back, opposite each other, midpoints in the back. So that's in addition to the regular school bus roof hatch here. While we're up front, I'll show you, this is the passenger seat. It swings forward and locks into place so that the passenger and the driver can sit side by side. It's also a full 360 swivel seat. Next to that, we have 2 sections of countertop. Both of them lift up and lock into place. There's 2 latches on either one. You just lift them and drop them back into place. So this is your counter. Over here on the other side, you have the kitchen. Start with, you have a large sink underneath these 2 infill panels. This is 1-inch high density polyethylene. So essentially this is cutting board material. So those lift out sections make great cutting boards. You can cut on any of the countertop if you so desire. This is the trash.
Just sitting here thinking about you. Well, I'm tired of waiting. Sick and tired of the things you do and all the things you say. Here you are staying out all night. This is your last morning.
To let off any minor excess heat from the water heater, which is directly underneath there. This is built-in storage for knives. So here next to the sink, I'll just go through these. We have a tilt out here in front of the sink for utensils. All these are lined. This is the same felt material that's on the wall. That's 10mm felt. And the point of that is rattles, to avoid rattles going down the road. Each cabinet has its own lock. some of them are locked and some of them aren't. This is so this is representative of the drawers that we're looking at. We have two drawers, two large drawers underneath the sink. This is the cooler, refrigerator. It opens from either side, so it plugs in the back. It runs off of the house batteries. Silverware. Again, everything's lined with felt. These bamboo utensils are the best. They're quiet, they don't rattle going down the road. This is the stove. You might want to step over here. These are locking hinges or locking drawer slides on this one. So it locks out. This is a Camp Chef oven. 2-burner cooktop. So essentially what you have here is an L-shaped kitchen. Made all the bigger if you want to raise the countertops on this side. You really have the biggest gourmet kitchen you've ever seen in a bus. This has its own propane connection right here in place, or it has a quick disconnect on it, and you can take it outside, which is what we've done all the time, and set it up on a folding table. There's a 60-inch buffet table there. Set that up on the table with the grill next to it, and you got your own outdoor kitchen, and you don't have to worry about the heat in the bus. So anyway, on either side of the banquette, we have continuing the drawers. We have two of these large drawers, one on either side. While we're in here, this is the Thomas electrical manual for this bus. It has the complete chassis wiring diagram. It goes through connector by connector. It's all in there. These are the two factory service manuals for this bus for this year. We were lucky enough to stumble across both of these on independently on eBay, and I snatched them up. Same thing on this side, big drawer. Then you've got two tilt outs on both sides here. And these are only about 6 inches deep because of the wheel wells inside here. But you can see they're fully carpeted and finished inside. This is the, right here, this is the propane CO2 monitor. This is the outlet for the rear diesel heater, the one that runs on the house batteries. Up here is the control unit for that. Back to the drawers here, we have another, this is the biggest drawer in the bus, back here in the center. That's 24 inches deep. We have two big tilt outs here on either side. And what you can see in there is actually the two water tanks. They're matching 65-gallon water tanks for a total of 130 gallons of freshwater capacity. I'll show you a little bit more of those here in a minute. Okay, so the rest of the cabinets we got two upper cabinets. This is generally, I mean, you can see that we have our walkie-talkies here. We have four, let me pull these out of here so you can see it. There's a 4 USB charging port there. That's what we use to charge these walkie-talkies. But we've got 4 of these. So they're really great when you're in camp. You know, a lot of times, most it's a good camp. There's no cell phone signal, so yeah, we've got a lot of paper plates or Ziploc baggies, some spices and stuff. These are both on soft close hinges. Yeah. So, while we're here, I guess the lighting, and I told you earlier we have a Bluetooth app. So we have indirect LED throughout. It is in these troughs above the windows. So zone 1, what we call the front zone, is halfway from the front, and it goes from where you are to where I am. And then the back, which we call the banquette, is everything behind me on both sides. We have a kitchen zone, which is this under cabinet lighting here. And then there's the bathroom, which has its own set of indirect LED in the trough as well. These are also color changing. I don't know how many 100 colors, and variable white, so they go from cool white to warm white as well, and that's all changeable with the app. As you see, turn them off here, back in business. So going back to kind of the last thing to talk about here, I guess, which is the roof. You probably noticed this ladder. This is the all-purpose roof ladder, towel drying rack, etc. Multi-purpose. This is the original school bus roof hatch that we have left in place. I added this ladder. Another quick release pit pin. You raise the ladder and up you go. So now that we're up here on the roof, I thought I'd show you guys what it takes to set the handrails up here. First off, you see these are the solar panels. We've got 450 watt panels, total of 600 watts. I use this one safety strap over the top when we're going down the road. Make sure nothing decides to get a mind of its own. Just lift this handrail up. Lift the other one up. Release the end rail. Release the end rail. And they just lock together. Same thing on the other end. They just slip together. Then the solar panels at that point, guys, can be adjusted to whatever angle. There's a angle rod here, and you can adjust these to whatever angle you'd like, depending on where you're parked and the sun conditions there. Obviously the same thing is true with this other panel. You just reach out and pull it up. Obviously the branches aren't doing us any help here. Same thing. You set that drop arm wherever you want for whatever angle you want. But up here you have a deck that's 8 feet wide and 21 feet long. The skylights that you saw below are flush with the deck up above. And those are insulated glass. Those are probably the best insulated part of the roof. when you're ready to go home, it's a reverse of what you just saw. So you take the handrails back apart, stow that, stow that, back to this end, stow that, and the handrail's ready to lay down. Same as you saw it. Back down. Back down. And we've got an unruly piece of firewood here, guys. Show you, this is how we took to storing our firewood so that we didn't have to purchase it at every campground along the way. You can see the net, and it rides along real nice here on the roof, and it's there when we need it. Anyhow, solar panels are stowed. Put the ratchet strap back. Ready to go down the road. So I thought we'd show you guys a little bit of how the banquette goes together. I don't think we've ever really shown this on any of the videos, but everything is super accessible for service should the need arise. Hopefully not. First, step one, take off all the cushions. I like to start with this one because it's the biggest one. Stack them over here. Okay guys, so all these panels here on top, first off, I don't know if I've ever shown you guys, but there's storage behind all of these. They're all hinged. And again, with the padded bottoms. So step one here obviously is to remove your whatever you got stored in there. I didn't know we had some of this stuff stored in here. Step two, lift the corners out of it. There's one. There's two. And then any of these can be lifted out. So what you see in here is the top, what you're seeing here is obviously the top of these drawers, but this gives you an idea of what all the compartments look like inside. Carpeted, painted. On the right side here, this is the 3-chamber water filtration. This is 65-gallon tank number 1. This is the continuous rotary water pump. It's not the clicky-clack type that you see in most RVs. This is the pressure reservoir for the pump. And then what you're seeing here is the plumbing for the water system. This is the vent. It goes up to right here. This is the gravity fill from the outside. This is the back side of the filler that you're seeing from the outside. This is the street water fill. So depending if you just have a hose, you want to fill the tanks, you'd use this larger spigot. If you have a water line, you want to connect it and use the water pressure, city water pressure, you'd connect it here, outside obviously. There's a valve on the back side of this wall down below that you turn to select whether you're filling the tanks or using the water line. Pretty standard RV stuff. But even this tank, even this compartment, all of this is carpeted and underneath, completely finished inside. Over here on the other side, well, let's just continue on around. What you're seeing here is the top of that large drawer that I locked. But again, everything's finished inside. These 2 PVC lines are the crossover lines for the water tanks. You can see it over here. There's one high and low to allow the water to equalize between the 2 tanks. On this side, you have the other water tank. Set this over to this side. Here you have the other water tank and the rear diesel heater. Next to that, the other drawer. But you can see how quickly this all comes apart. Literally everything is immediately accessible. No tools within about 5 minutes. Okay, so we thought we'd show you what it takes to set up the banquette into a bed. First thing you do is retrieve the infill piece from the back. It folds open. You'll see that there are 3 places here for the 3 drawers here to register. That's what this thing sets on when it's open. So you set the one in the back first. And then pull these drawers open gently until they set where they need to under there on those angles that I showed you a minute ago. A little bit difficult here because we're on an angle. But there it is. So then this cushion slides over, back slides down. Same thing happens on the other side. And you have a king-size bed. On the end of the upper cabinet here, we've got most of the systems controls on the inside of the unit. This is the gas valve on and off. Turns the propane on and off at the tank. There's a solenoid valve there. This is the water pump. Turns the water pump on and off. This is the remote control panel for the inverter converter. It has basically parallel functionality to the controls that are in the electrical box in the outside. The last electronic systems control really in here is the stereo. We've got 4 6x9 speakers, 2 in the front, 1 here, 1 on the other side. We've got 2 in the back, right and left. There is not a formal stereo per se. What we have is this Blaupunk 40 amp per channel amplifier and a Bluetooth controller. So there's a switch on the dash here that you turn on, and then you just hit the button here on the Bluetooth controller.
Bluetooth mode. Bluetooth is connected.
And it connects to your phone, and you start playing music. So that's what we got there. Anyhow, when you're not using it, we turn it off. But that's what we have for music.